Good morning, Olive family. Thanks so much for taking time this morning to dig into God's Word and open up the Bible and learn some truths about who He is and what He has for our life. How often do we find ourselves wrestling with fears and worries, going from day to day to find uncertainties, especially right now? There's so much going on in our world. Sometimes it feels like we fall into a trap of almost fearing the fact that we don't have anything to be afraid of, but we keep being afraid and we keep having fears and anxieties that we wrestle with. The good news this morning is that the Word of God offers us hope, peace, and security. So this morning I want to take a few minutes just to show how resting in Christ, resting in God, in who He is, has the ability to magnify and glorify Him and set our hearts at ease and on peace as we look to Him. The Word of God says in Luke 12:32, "Fear not, little flock, for it is your Father's good pleasure to give you the kingdom." Let me read that one more time. "Fear not, little flock, for it is your Father's good pleasure to give you the kingdom." I've always loved looking at Scripture and seeing how there's such a correlation between a shepherd and between sheep. One thing I've found is there's always more to the shepherd and to the sheep than first meets the eye. First, not being afraid shows that we treasure God as our shepherd. He says, "Fear not, little flock." We're His flock, and He's the shepherd. He's not just the shepherd, He's the good shepherd. And if He's our shepherd, then Psalm 23 verse 1 applies. "The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not lack for anything." That means I'm not going to need anything that He provides, He gives us. Today, I think we need to allow Him to meet our needs. We need to stop trying to figure it out on our own, using our own strength, and allow Him to be the good shepherd that guides us, that provides for us, that meets our needs. Today, we can magnify God by resting in Him as our good shepherd. Second, this text also shows us that not being afraid shows that we treasure God as our Father. So not only our shepherd, but as our Father. He says, "Fear not, little flock, for it is your Father's good pleasure." It's His good pleasure to give you the kingdom. We're not only His little flock, but we're also His children. And He is our Father. He really knows what we need, what I need, what you need, and He's gracious to give it to us. He hears us and He sees us. He's a God who loves us more than anything else, as a father loves his child. He longs for that relationship. His heartbeat is that of love for you and for me. He really cares and He really sees our needs. Even if we don't mention them by name, He knows. 1 John 3 verse 1 says, "See what great love the Father has lavished on us, that we should be called children of God." And that's what we are this morning. We are His child, and nothing can take that away. Nothing can snatch us out of His hand. We can rest secure this morning and throughout our days, knowing that God is our Father and that He's our shepherd. Third thing in this text, not being anxious shows that we treasure God as our King. He says, "Fear not, little flock, for it's your Father's good pleasure to give you the kingdom." He can give us the kingdom because He's the King. This adds a huge element of power to the one who already provides for us. As a shepherd, He shows us His protection and His provision for our lives. As a father, He shows His love, His tenderness, His authority, His provision, and His care for all the details, every single detail of our lives. And as a king, He shows His power, His sovereignty, and His wealth. We like to use the word God is omnipotent. He's all-powerful, He's sovereign, and He's in control of all things that we face each and every day. Fourth, not being afraid shows us how free and generous God is. Notice in this verse it says He gives us the kingdom. He gives us the kingdom. He doesn't sell the kingdom. He doesn't rent the kingdom. He doesn't even ask us to pay a mortgage. He doesn't lease it to us. He gives it to us. It's His good pleasure to give us the kingdom. Our God is infinitely wealthy and doesn't need anything that we have. God is generous and free with all He has. And that's what we magnify about Him when we're not afraid, when we're not anxious. We rest in Him and we trust Him with every single one of our needs, whether it's spiritual needs, physical needs. He cares for us, and He desires to meet those needs that we have. And finally, not being afraid, not being anxious, shows that we trust that God really does want to do this. The verse says, "Fear not, little flock, for it is your Father's good pleasure to give you the kingdom." He gives it to us. It delights Him to give us the kingdom. It makes Him glad to give us the kingdom. So the point of this verse is that we should treasure God as our shepherd and our Father and our King, who is generous and happy to give us the kingdom of God, to give us heaven, to give us eternal life, to give us joy, to give us everything we need to complete the race. He equips us with everything that we need throughout the journey of our life. He gives it to us, and that free gift is through His Son, Jesus Christ, and the sacrifice that He paid on the cross for you and for me. And now He's resurrected, and He sits at the right hand of God the Father, and He makes intercession for us, and we can call on Him in all things, and we can trust Him this morning to be our shepherd, the good shepherd, our Father, and our King. In a world filled with fears and anxieties, I want to encourage you this morning to choose joy, to choose hope, and to choose kindness. Treasure God as your good shepherd, your loving Father who cares so much about you, and thirdly, as your victorious King. And be fearless and be free. Keep your eyes on Jesus. He's promised He will be faithful to see us through to the end.